How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about used cars from 1980. This is directed by Robert Zemeckis and stars Kurt Russell. So yeah, I'd heard about this movie. Netflix talked about it during their Movies That Made Us documentary. They were talking about Robert Zemeckis in Back to the Future, and they said that he was friends with Steven Spielberg, who was really helping him out in his early career. And I believe Steven Spielberg actually, executive produced this one. But a lot of his movies hadn't been working out. They came out, they liked them, but they weren't financially successful. And this was the last of those. It came out, they were really sure it'd be a big hit, and then it just wasn't financially successful, and Robert Zemeckis got really upset, and he goes, fine, I'll take whatever the next script is that comes in, and I'll just do that. And that next script happened to be his big break, Romancing the Stone, and after Romancing the Stone, that success led to Back to the Future, led to him becoming the biggest, great director and whatnot, and, becoming a household name. In addition to Romancing the Stone, Back to the Future, the front of the DVD list, Forrest Gump, What Lies Beneath, and Cast Away. But if you're a horror fan like me, you most appreciate Zemeckis for helping start out the Tales from the Crypt HBO show, which is really great and really fun, and I did love that, and he's directed several of those episodes. In addition to Tales from the Crypt, also Death Becomes Her is a fun horror comedy, very much in the vein of that movie. So I'm a big Zemeckis fan, and I was curious to see what his last picture before he became famous was. And hey, it's Kurt Russell as a used car salesman. I'm of course going to be down for that. I'm going to check it out. Kurt Russell is amazing. I'm also a big John Carpenter fan, and Kurt Russell is in most of John Carpenter's best movies. Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing, Escape from New York. Lots of cool stuff there. So yeah, I was really interested to see what this is all about, and while it isn't the best thing ever, not all the jokes land. It's funny, it's not hilarious, but it's pretty good. But this is kind of like, well, we just talked about John Carpenter. I did a review for Dark Star, and it's one of those movies where it's not perfect, but you can tell the talent's there. This is nowhere near what Back to the Future would be, but you can see the seed there, and it's still a good movie. It's not a great movie, it's good, but you can see where the talent would come from, and you can see he's just right on the precipice in this movie, about to break through, about to do Romancing the Stone, Back to the Future, and become a big director, and this is just right before that. So it is a really interesting piece of film when you look at it that way too. But let's go ahead and jump right into the plot there. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the movie's about. We open up with Kurt Russell. He's underneath the steering wheel of a car, like where the brakes are in the driver's seat, and he's working on something, and it's a really good setup for the tone of the movie and the character, because you think he's working to fix the car, to make it better, but then when he achieves his goal, you see he wasn't trying to fix it, the odometer numbers slide down, he's working on a lie, he's making it look like the car has less mileage than it actually does, and I think that's where the title card pops up too. So you get to see, the scummy used car salesman nature of all these characters. And it is fun and interesting. And you open up with them pulling several hijinks, In addition to changing the odometer, you see Kurt Russell take a big, I think it says like new on it. He takes a big like new sign and he puts it on the windshield of a car right over a big, crack in the windshield. So it's like, crack in a windshield, hide that with this like new sign, and you really get to see the character that they're going for, And there is one big memorable scheme he does really early on in the movie. There's a rival car lot across the street, and there's a customer there talking to a salesman. He gets a fishing pole and a $10 bill, and he swings the fishing pole across the street, and the guy sees the $10 bill and he starts reeling it in, and the guy's chasing the money across the street, almost getting hit by a car. And then he gets onto Kurt Russell's lot. He's like, "Hey, you dropped your $10 there. Let me show you this car." And he just reels him in, you know. It's this really fun, over-the-top way of showing you his character, really fun hijinks, you know. And yeah, a really cool thing to do at the beginning of the movie. But you see, Kurt Russell there, he's a really good salesman, but he has aspirations. He wants to be a politician. So you see the jokes practically write themselves. Used car salesman, what's the next career path, what's your next goal? To be a politician. But he needs to raise some money because you see, if he makes a big enough campaign donation, he'll get on the ballot. You see, you would hope that it would be about, you know, the things that you've done and campaigning and getting people to believe in you, and that's how you would, you know, earn a spot on a party's, you know, ticket. No. You donate the party $60,000, they'll just put you on the ticket. Sadly, probably pretty realistic. This movie's very much baked in cynicism, and part of me really does like that. It's probably more realistic than all these other hopeful movies, but man, maybe I'm a little too cynical myself. But he needs to get the money to essentially buy this position as a senator, and he's $10,000 short. He's sold everything he can, he's made as much money as he can, he's still $10,000 short, and he talks to his boss about it, and his boss is a good guy and promises to give him the last $10,000, this sort of loan to help him out because they're friends and he wants him to succeed, and that's great. But there's a problem. You see, he's the good brother. Across the street, that other lot, the rival lot that I told you about, that's his evil brother, and they're the same actor but with different wigs on, so it's kind of funny there. But the rival brother, the evil brother across the street, wants the good brother's car lot, and he's been wanting it for a while, but it's going to be an even tighter race just coming up. You see, they're going to build a big highway. You know, there's a little road between them now. They're going to build a big highway, and they're going to have to pave over one of the lots. So one of these lots is going out of business, and the other lot is going to be right next to a big new highway where all the traffic's coming from, and whatever lot survives becomes the new, you know, car lot next to the highway and is going to get a bunch of business. So he, the evil brother, hires a demolition derby racer to go on a test drive with the good brother, and he does a bunch of crazy stuff, and this causes the good brother to die of a heart attack. He already had heart problems. Now Kurt Russell, obviously not going to get that $10,000 loan because the guy died, but if the evil brother gets the car lot, he won't have a chance to work, so he won't be able to earn that money. So he is really, really short, so he has to hide the body. So he gets all his friends together, and they decide to bury him in a car. They bury him, and they have to pretend like he just went to Miami, because that way they can keep the lot running, keep it out of the evil brother's hands, but also give Kurt Russell the last little bit of chance to make that final $10,000. So he is kind of playing against the clock there, and he's a schemer anyway, so he's up to more schemes. Now, to complicate things, after a few days after faking the death, it might even be just one day or something, the guy's daughter, who he hasn't seen in years, shows up again, and they're like, if you had just came a little sooner. So now they just can't, you know, they can't just pull the body out of the ground like, he dead, you know. You can't go back on the scheme you just set, and now you have the daughter there, and they're like, what do we do? Do we try to send her away? You know, they're telling everybody that he's in Miami. The daughter's like, that's weird, he said he would be here. And, of course, Kurt Russell's gonna wind up falling in love with her, but that keeps her a little bit too close to center stage, and she might start to see what's going on. And Kurt Russell's a trickster, but she used to work for an inspection company that monitored used car lots back in the day. So she is not easy to be tricked, and that's going to clash. Now, while all this is going on, they have to drum up business for the car for the car lot, and they get up to wacky shenanigans. You know, the evil brother across the street is holding a family-friendly carnival to try to drum up business. So Kurt Russell, of course, gets a bunch of dancers, some adult dancers, and has them dance around on the top of his cars, and all the people go from the family-friendly carnival to the dancers, because that's how logic works in 80s comedies, and maybe in real life, again, depending on how cynical you are. But there's that. He also gets, he has a friend who's into technology, and they start overriding the TV airways during important things like a football game or a presidential address even. They overrun the airways to put on these illegal commercials, you know, where they have on like disguises and they're like, oh, that car lot's really bad, that price is way too high. You know, so some wacky hijinks there. And I do have to say, when we get more into specifics, one of the things I do like about this movie is it's so heavily cynical, but it also, you know, you have Kurt Russell who's your protagonist, but he's not a good guy. This is one of those comedies, kind of like Always Sunny in Philadelphia would be later, where almost everybody's evil. You know, you had the good brother who dies, and the daughter is pretty much a good person as well. Outside of that, everybody is scheming, everybody's conniving, everybody's a trickster, you know? And nowadays you get so much comedy that's like, haha, I am the smart superior man and you are the stupid fool, and those don't seem to play as well. It's like this superiority ego complex, but to have this comedy where it's a bunch of, you know, low-life slime balls punching each other, and it's cynical towards everybody, I like that much better. Probably, again, much more true to real life, and that is really funny. Now, it is really hard to pull this off, though. You get Kurt Russell, and he's playing, you know, a conniving used car salesman, and it really shows to Kurt Russell's strengths, because you have to like and you have to follow this guy even when he's doing something he really shouldn't. And again, it just comes down to Kurt Russell with that effortless charm there, and he really does pull you in like he pulls in all the customers there, and he's really fun. So you gotta love Kurt Russell in this. He also has a few friends, you know. There's this guy who, it's the dad from Terror Vision, and he's all worried about bad luck. He doesn't want to be in a red car. He doesn't want to walk under ladders, so that's funny there. And he's with this dog, and the dog is like hyper intelligent, and no one says anything about it. It's like someone's working on the car. Give me a Phillips head screwdriver. The dog walks, gives him a screwdriver, and they're like, I said Phillips head. Not, you know, amazed that the dog understood that much, but like, no, silly dog, Phillips head. But then at one point, he, like, you know, this guy is outside of the car and someone's trying to reach him on the radio, so of course the dog picks up the radio and gives it to him. I don't know, I'm a big fan of dogs in movies, and, you know, all the other little side characters are really fun as well, but yeah, I don't know, the dog steals the show as always, right? But yeah, there's really fun characters, really interesting, but at the same time though, it's funny, but it's not like hilarious, you know? And that's what I want to say, you know, is it's got a lot going for it. There's a lot of really cool ideas, and if you're into that cynical mindset, and you really are that way, there's a lot to like here. Like, there's even one part later on when they get, the bad guys get someone in trouble by using audio to doctor what someone said and change what she said later on, and I'm like, huh, that is very true to the present, where you really can't trust a lot of anything, so there's a bit of a conspiratory angle in it. And yeah, there's lots of cool stuff to like in here. It just, and it's hard to say, you know, I don't review comedies that often, but it's hard to say what takes a movie from being funny to being outright hilarious, and I'm not really sure what makes that jump there, but it was funny. It was really funny, and you saw where Robert Zemeckis would be coming from, but it wasn't the most hilarious thing ever. There was parts that obviously didn't date well, but it was really good. Not the best thing ever, but hey, young Zemeckis, young Kurt Russell, there's a lot to like in here, even if it isn't crazy good, you know? So I did like this, you know? Anyway, I do want to review more Kurt Russell movies soon. I'm sure I'll eventually get to his big ones, but yeah, Kurt Russell, Robert Zemeckis need to do a whole bunch more with each of those guys, and cool to see them together. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you want to see more, you can click there and see more. Have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.